He's built different, everyone. Okay, I'm ready, I guess.
Okay. You're doing the intro, so.
Oh, really? I thought I did last time.
You did not. According to the doc.
Okay, well. Welcome, everybody, to Quarter Twins Podcast. It's Quarter Twins, the only podcast where 2 quarters make $1. I am your host of the day, Jordan. The other host, as always, is
Joshua.
this guy. Joshua is here
Hello,
also.
hello.
We are doing a podcast. We're doing a Speedy Quick podcast because we both got places to be.
Speedy quick.
This is our final episode in Spooktober. Ooh. I forgot to add the reverb last week, guys.
Yeah, you did.
That's my
But
bad.
that's okay.
I
didn't do it either. I could have done it myself.
Was I rushing or was I dragging? But
That's a
quote from
Whiplash
the movie,
Whiplash reference?
A Whiplash reference. Everybody go watch Whiplash.
I still haven't seen it.
Number 7 or 8 all-time favorite movie.
Wow. Speaking of
we're
my
here.
number 7 or 8 final favorite movie,
Oh!
we're talking about The Shining today.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
The Shining.
I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, the spookiest movie to ever live. So we'll be talking about The Shining today. We'll be talking about Andor Episode 7, the best Star Wars show in the history of anything. The best show, period.
Oh.
There is no... It's the best show that's ever been made.
You're saying it's better than Survivor?
Yes,
Bro.
I am saying that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
talk.
crazy.
But before we get into all that, everybody, as always, we're going to have a little segment from our sponsor, Anchor.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the Anchor ad.
We said we were going to start recording those live.
Yeah,
We'll have to do
we did
that
not do
in the next one. Season 2 of Quarter Twins.
What?
Which I was thinking we should start Season 2. Should we start Season 2? I was thinking, because on Anchor we release episodes as seasons.
Oh,
Nobody sees them, but we can make a big deal about it. Should we start Season 2 in 2023, in January of 2023, or should we wait until our 1-year anniversary in April to start Season 2?
Like if we're going to switch up the season, we need to be prepared to bring it to a higher level.
That's true.
So if that's in January or in April, whenever we decide, or later, who knows, we need to be ready to amp it up. I'm talking in person. We live together. No, I'm just kidding.
We live together. You move into our basement or attic or wherever.
Dude, sounds good. You guys have Ethernet?
Fun.
That's all I need.
I got great internet over here, dude.
Heck yeah.
250 download speed time. It's not that
Clocking
great.
in fiber optic over here. We got like 1,000.
Yeah, I know. But hey, for Missouri, we're doing pretty good.
No, that's not
here.
bad for the middle of the country.
Yep.
In the bread basket.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Joshua, what did you think of Andor Episode 7?
Man, this is the...
Are we up to 7 episodes already?
Yeah. I know. Last week was Episode 6, and my mom was like, Episode 6? How many weeks did we miss? And I was like, no, they started with 3 episodes. And she was like, they did? Because we watched them all in a row. And, I thought that was kind of funny that she just completely... They were just... It was a 3-hour episode for her, which is great, because it was really good.
3-hour
and
episode.
it was. Episode 7, what was it called? Announcement,
yeah.
I am in love. I think I don't think there's any flaws. I put in the doc, I just don't really know how to put it into words. What this show is. It's like I'm seeing a new, more realistic idea of what the Star Wars universe would be under the Empire. Mm-hmm. Like, we watch Rebels, and there's stormtroopers everywhere, and the stormtroopers are all idiots, and they lose every single fight in the entire show, right? And in the First Order is a bunch of idiots. They're all, like,
They're so terrible.
Shakespearean actors, and then the Empire itself is supposed to be this dominus, this eternal empire, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And they suck, and they lose everything. But here we are in Andor, and we finally see this, like, the oppression. This ridiculously powerful, oppressive force. And it's this random table somewhere on Coruscant, I think, sits all of these people, all of these high up officials, making huge decisions for the entire galaxy, and they're all guiding themselves based on their own career and self-interests, and it's all like a game for them. And that made me think of something, a reference for our Star Trek Discovery watchers. There is... are you planning on watching that? I don't want to spoil it for you.
It's on my list.
Oh, shoot. Well, there's a similar theme.
Similar theme.
For a portion of the show. That's all I will say. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I don't know if anybody has seen that.
My dad watched it. My mom watched it. So I'm a big fan of the reality. Like, The Boys? You didn't watch it.
I know The Boys.
But no, it's like a very realistic interpretation of what superheroes would be if they were in our world. Money-grubbing, ego-driven murder machines, right?
Murderous, disgusting people.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Empire is a group of people with unchecked power. What's going to happen? They're going to oppress everybody and kill everybody. So, and that's kind of what's happening. And, of course, that's going to drive rebellion, and people are going to sacrifice their lives and blah, blah, blah for the cause. And here we have a show of those people doing that, and it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, so I think the writer was talking about how we have 12 episodes. The first 3 episodes were a contained arc. The second 3 episodes were a contained arc. And then this episode is kind of a transitionary episode. Then there's going to be another 3-episode arc. And then a final 2-episode final finale type of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, so this episode is very, like, the heist happened, and then this episode kind of shifts characters around and, like, gives people transition time because Cassian goes back to his home planet and sees that things are all messed up. The Empire has this presence there now. Everything's terrible, and he's like, "Mom, come with me. We're gonna run away." And she's like, "Nope, I'm gonna fight the power over here, dude." And he's like, "That's dumb. I got money. Let's leave." So he leaves and goes to this
that's dumb,
island paradise planet, and has sex with a woman, and is showering and stuff. And then he gets arrested for looking like he was causing trouble, basically. The stormtrooper was like, "You're not white. You must be
what the heck?
A criminal." And then they sentence him to 6 years in prison for no reason. And
a very fair
so
trial.
He's in prison at the end of this episode. You learn a little bit more about Mon Mothma. We learn that she's kind of she's moving money around secretly to, like, fund the rebellion. But, so she's kind of working with Luthen, but then she apparently didn't know about the heist that was happening. So she was like, "What the heck are you doing? This is too public," and whatever.
It's too soon.
We're trying to be quiet about this stuff. And Cyril Karn gets a job at an office. Yeah. Just like what a nerd, what a loser that guy. Loser. Andor ruined his life. Now he has to work a desk job.
Pretty sweet desk, though. It's like a gaming chair.
Yeah.
And he just gets to toggle switches all day.
Val. Is it Val or Vel? I can never understand what they're saying. Vel is now on Coruscant with a fresh new look. There's this mysterious person who shows up to talk to her. And so everybody's kind of at different places.
She's the shopkeeper lady, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Is she? I don't know if I put that
she's
together.
Luthen's aide.
Okay. That makes more sense because I was like, who is this new person?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's just her. So
Yeah.
Um,
She had a different hairdo and a hoodie
Yeah.
on.
and
Of
she
sorts.
looked like it looked like a character introduction. I felt like so. Anyway, everybody's in different places at the end of this episode, so they're kind of ramping up for whatever this next, probably a prison break arc of some kind, where Andor decides to be a rebel and stuff. So
Yeah, and we still
I'm
need
pretty
Saw
pumped.
Gerrera.
yep,
To
we
show up,
haven't seen Saw
apparently.
Gerrera yet. We saw a little K2SO cameo,
Mm-hmm.
or at
Potentially.
least
The same droid.
at least the model of droid that he is. So, it's a
Dang.
masterpiece, and nobody's watching it, so you should watch it, listener and watcher. Please
Also,
watch it
Cinta's
because
okay.
it's literally the best thing Disney Plus has ever made, and that's not
Whoa.
even an exaggeration.
What about
So-
the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars?
No, this is better than that.
no, yeah, I'm saying.
It's so much better than that.
Yeah, you're right.
They made a whole season 7 of Clone Wars, and it was like, okay. But the last 4 episodes are pretty dope.
The last 4 episodes.
Anyway,
Still a better
we gotta
show
keep
than
moving.
Andor.
Clone
We
Wars?
can- yes.
I mean, sure.
It's my number
I
2
guess.
show of all time.
I will-
And
I
Andor
will
is
give
not
you
currently
that.
on the list yet.
It's not a finished show, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's not. It doesn't qualify.
But yeah, we gotta rush through this.
Yeah, we gotta.
Not because
break
we want to, guys. Okay, we're here.
No.
We're doing as much as we can with what we're given, and
Yeah.
we're here. Okay, so let's talk about The Shining.
Talk about it.
The Shining is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mhm.
It's a recent addition over the past couple of years. There's a YouTuber that I like named Video Game Donkey, and he
Video
does
Game
video
Donkey.
game reviews. Very occasionally, he'll do a movie review or a TV review. He makes fun of teenagers in Fortnite on occasion. He's all over the place, right? He's so hilarious. Definitely recommend checking out his channel. Not that he needs it. I need it. You check out my YouTube channel. Anyway, he made a video called The Shining, and it's just like a review of The Shining, and he talks about the ambiguity of the movie and how eerie it is and how it feels when you watch it. And he has this quote from Jack Nicholson where he says, "You don't try to photograph the reality. You try to photograph the photograph of the reality." And that was like, whoa, arts and crafts, you guys. And so
Arts and crafts.
I decided, you know what? This Halloween, instead of hiding in my room from the children, I'm going to watch a scary movie in the dark. And I decided to watch The Shining, and I was moved by its complexity, by its art form. And it really, I think it actually unlocked the way I see movies now. It kind of, because it was the first time that I had seen a review of a movie before I watched the movie. Because I normally I like to look at like honest reviews or lessons from the screenplay or Nando V movies after I have seen something to just see what they thought about it and how it compares to what I think about it. But this video came out of nowhere, and you watch a Video Game Donkey video whenever it comes out, you're there. So I watched it regardless, and it changed the course of my life. Here I am. No, I'm just kidding. But it did have a profound influence on me, and I've talked about it in the past. I'm not a horror genre guy,
Right.
But here I am with a horror movie in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So, Jordan, let's talk about it. Give me your initial thoughts. You saw it for the first time ever,
Very
just the
first
other
time.
day.
Yeah. I had no real interest of seeing it ever until you said it was one of your favorite movies, and then we had to just watch it because Halloween time.
Yeah.
And we did record a little commentary, which will probably maybe show up on the YouTube channel eventually.
It'll be there eventually.
Yeah, it is definitely The Shining. I mean, I knew very little about it, but I think it's because it is such an ambiguous movie that it's hard to spoil, I guess, because it's not a movie where one of the things Video Game Donkey in his video talks about how it's not it's not a classic monster movie where it's like at the end of all this mystery there's a scene where a guy goes, and here's what's been happening the whole time, audience. He's been here since the dawn of time, and you were looking at this, and this is what was actually happening. Right. But in The Shining, it's like it just a bunch of wacky crap happens, and horrifying stuff happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then it ends.
Yeah, it does have an abrupt ending.
There's a very hilarious freeze frame, and then the movie ends.
Harry Potter
and
style.
And so you're just kind of left to think about it. There's no right or wrong. Well, there might be a wrong answer, but there's no right or wrong interpretation, because it's left up to interpretation, I suppose. Which is very anti-current, our current culture of
also
filmmaking, because this sort of thing never happens, where it's like, an ambiguous movie where it requires the audience to think about things. What? That doesn't exist anymore. Impossible. Let's all go see Black Adam instead.
Big dumb boom boom movie.
Things go big boom. And so yeah, I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it, where it was, I like movies that make you think about things. And I mean, it's a Stanley Kubrick movie. It is shot very well, and it looks really cool from a filmmaking perspective. Holds on shots for a long time.
I love that.
And yeah, it'll just be like following Danny around on his little tricycle for a really, really long time. And nothing's really happening other than he's writing and this music is playing, and it makes you think that something scary is about to happen, and then it just doesn't. And then you're like, oh my gosh.
And then later in the movie, he's riding the trike, and he's ridden on the trike multiple times and nothing has happened. And then he turns this corner and he sees the twins, and you're like, oh, because you don't expect it to happen the third time. It's amazing. Yeah, I think the camera work in this movie, I'm just gonna freaking cut in here. Okay, your creative flow ended. It's over.
Come on, man.
Me. I'm just kidding. I do want to talk about the camera though.
Do talk about it.
I feel like in a lot of horror movies, they want to show you the scary thing, or like it's going to be out of focus for a while, and then eventually they'll have a big reveal. In The Shining, what I love about it is so many times throughout the movie, the scary thing is not even on screen, or there is no scary thing. The scary thing is the energy of the hotel. So if there's no scary thing, then they just have this like droning soundscape throughout the movie when anything is happening, or even if something isn't. And then the camera's on the character. If the character is moving forward, we are behind them. Or we're in front of them moving backwards, so that whatever they're looking at is not in the view of the viewer. We have to react to the people reacting.
Right.
The photograph of the reality. Oh. Is that what that is?
Together.
That's crazy.
That's what that means. Yeah.
And so the whole movie is based on like watching the people go crazy instead of like some scary thing happening. Yeah. They're just like in this hotel being afraid of things. And then, of course, eventually everybody starts seeing crazy things. And it's like, that's like the part that I don't like as much, is when it kind of returns to form a little near the end. And I think that's inevitable for a movie. You have to deliver something. It can't be completely ambiguous and then nothing happens the whole time. So I just love the way that they play with the camera. And I think, I think it's masterful.
Yeah. And couple that with Jack Nicholson just being at the top of his game and being able to just make you uncomfortable just by looking at you.
But you can't
in
look
a creepy way. And you can't look away, but it's like, it's just horrifying to look at the guy. And the way he talks and walks and does everything is just uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. And I thought an interesting part of it was that, like, usually in horror movies, you'll, like, the movie starts and the family's like, everyone's happy, and like you get to like all of these characters, like Us, for example. Like, have you seen Us? I forget. No.
Or you're talking about a movie?
Us. Yeah. Us.
I thought you were talking about us.
like the two of us.
Yeah, we're
like
happy.
If we were in The Shining. Yeah. Like the movie Us.
Okay.
The family, they're going on a family vacation. Everybody's happy, and you get the vibe of the characters, and you're like, oh, these guys are awesome. And then they all get, the stuff starts happening to them, and it's horrifying.
Oh, no.
Whatever. But this movie, like, you never really get that. Like, you like Mrs. Torrance and Danny, but Jack Nicholson's character never really makes you like him because he's kind of a jerk from the start, which was interesting to me, that it wasn't like he transitions into this crazy murderous person, but there's a part of you that, like,
you
isn't
never
that
liked
surprised because you didn't like him from the start because he was a jerk, and he talks about how he accidentally beat his kid once. And then you're like, was that really an accident? Because then you find out he's alcoholic and all this stuff. And was that what the movie's about? Probably, probably part of it. But what I'm trying to say, like, it's just strange to have a main, like, character, like a villainous presence that's the dad of the father, husband of this family that you don't even really like, and then he starts to turn, but you're not sure if you're supposed to root for him to, like, get better, or, like, if you want him to whatever. So yeah, it creates this kind of conflict of what is happening.
And there's this sorry, go ahead.
No.
You sounded like you were about to finish a compelling point.
Is this a man going crazy, or was he just always like this? You know what I mean? Like, was he just suppressing something? Did he bring his family out here to kill them?
Right.
Probably. No, I don't know.
It could have been. There's an interview at the beginning of the movie, like the job interview, where Jack Torrance is interviewing for the position of caretaker of this hotel, right? So basically the movie, by the way, is this family goes to this hotel, and they're going to be snowbound in this hotel alone, 3 people. Yeah. And they have to take care of the hotel, heat and cool the buildings, keep everything safe, and prevent any damage or fix any damage over the winter. That's like their whole job, right?
Yep.
And so the guy who owns the hotel, or is like whoever is interviewing him, tells him a story about this guy in the past who hacked his family up and killed them with an axe during the winter, and then killed himself. Trigger warning for that. I apologize. And it's like, it's made very aware to the viewer that this is what's going to happen to Jack. He's right. You can rest assured that's not going to happen to me.
It's not going to happen.
And then, like, in the first scene with the family all together, they're in this car driving up to the Overlook Hotel. And you can just tell right away that the family dynamic is off. And Jack, like, already is not happy with his wife and his son. And I think something that Video Game Donkey talked about a lot in his video is that Jack kind of gets seduced by the hotel, and he falls for its shining, the shining trick. And he's very happy there, and he loves it there, and he never wants to leave ever again. And then when he has to go back home and get his family, he's away from the hotel, and maybe that's what is, like, making him angry on that car ride. And then he gets back and he's happy, but his family isn't happy there, so it really, really angers him. and then he goes crazy and starts killing everybody.
Yeah.
But I just like the way that the movie makes it so obvious to you what's going to happen. It no longer becomes what, it's when.
Yeah.
And it's 2.5 hours, so it's gonna happen eventually.
Right.
And yeah,
and it keeps you interested with all of these other creepy things that are going on in their heads. You add in this aspect of Danny has a superpower of sorts called The Shining that's explained to us by a different, like a random dude that works at the hotel who also has The Shining, and they can like see the future ? Or whatever.
They can
communicate with the.
How about some ice cream, Doc?
Creepy stuff, yeah. And so that's an aspect of it. Like that's in a modern movie that would be explained by somebody in an exposition dump at the end. Like, this is what The Shining is, and I have The Shining, and I am your great grandpa, and I am a superhero. But it's an aspect of the movie that is just there, and it doesn't ever really come up, other than you see things through Danny's eyes, until the end. Well, Danny has these visions of things sometimes, and then Jack ends up seeing like a populated ballroom, and he goes to a bar and starts talking to this guy, but they're obviously there by themselves. And then he finds a woman in a bathroom, and then that's really gross. And that sort of thing. But the mom, Wendy, doesn't see anything until the very end, which is like, I don't know, strange. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's like the only part of the movie that I have in my the bad section is during the climax, Jack is trying to kill the family, and he solely chases after Danny after he leaves the bathroom and says, "Here's Johnny." And they were like, what do we do with Wendy? She can't just leave because she's got to do other stuff. And then they just have her run around the hotel, and she starts seeing random things. And she literally was having the time of her life the first half of the movie. She's just living it up, cooking food, living it up, having a great time. And then all of a sudden now she's having hallucinations of people in dog masks and a room full of skeletons and an elevator pouring blood out of it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird that happens all of a sudden. Like, they could have honestly even, not had her in those scenes and cut it down a little bit, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange that, like, you see the blood coming out of the elevator. Like, that's one of the first things you see in the movie. And then you see it at the end, and it's, like, spooky, but... And then the room of skeletons, like, that's not a scary thing to me. So I feel like they could have gone a little bit more crazy with spooky things, but I mean, it's probably all symbolism for something. I don't know.
True. So true.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I don't really want to watch it again ever, but like,
what?
it's
honestly, it gets
still
better every
not
time
a
I watch
genre.
it.
It's still not a genre that I super enjoy, and even like the camera and everything is really nice to look at, but I don't super enjoy being spooked. So,
and I agree with you there. I don't really like being spooked, but I will argue for you that on repeat watchings, I have been less and less scared by things because I know what's about to happen, of course. And then you just really get to enjoy all the best parts of it, which is the camera and the acting and the sound design and the editing and stuff. Although every transition is a wipe in like the whole movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Zack Snyder zooms. If you're into that sort of thing. So I think it's definitely better on rewatches because once you know certain aspects of like what Jack is typing on his typewriter the whole time in every one of those scenes, you know he's already insane. So at what point does he break? But he's already insane, but he doesn't do anything until near the end. So like, you watch him and you start to fear every moment that he's in a different way, because you know he's already lost it. But why isn't he doing anything? It's really fun on second and third watches, I think.
Sure.
And I only watch it once a year, so
Yeah. I'll probably watch it again with you next year. So
there you go.
we'll do this again. It's pretty good flick, I'd say.
Pretty good flick.
I don't know. I think we're the only ones who think it's good, because
What?
nobody ever talks about it. It's not one of the highest rated movies of all time. It's not
Isn't
highly
it
regarded as a perfect movie.
Are you being
It's
facetious?
definitely- Yeah, I am.
I'm like, it's in IMDb's top 100 poster. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. It definitely is a classic.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite movie is The Shining. So I just saw it,
Yeah.
and I thought it was good.
Did it make your top 10?
Nope.
What was your number 10?
The Batman.
Oh, wow. Is it better than the
Yeah.
Batman?
I mean, sure.
Oh, there you go. Number 10, Shining.
But I like the Batman more. So
Oh, there you go. I mean,
The Shining is probably better than every movie on my list. So
whoa. Even
But that doesn't
Spider-Man?
mean- that doesn't mean that I like it enough to put it on.
I get
Because
you,
this
I
is
get you.
subjective, guys.
Art
If
is
we were
subjective.
making An objective list of the top 10 movies of all time,
My favorite movie is
whatever.
Citizen Kane.
of course, a classic, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Whoa. Those are good
A
movies.
movie
I haven't seen that.
No, I haven't either. I probably never will.
I want to.
Yeah,
I
probably
need
will
to.
someday.
I need to freaking read Dune, dude. I
You gotta read Dune.
I don't know
You don't
when.
have to read the whole thing.
I know. I don't know when the first book ends. I'm only this far in. That's backwards. Whatever. There. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got probably. Yeah, it looks like I'm about halfway through the first book. But I don't know if the first book is the first movie, how far it really goes. So
What just happened last you read?
There was a big, long meeting, and they were talking about the Harkonnen problem, and what's his face? Thufir Hawat realized that he let an assassination attempt go unnoticed, and he was going to quit.
Yep.
And then the Duke was like, "Shut up! You're so great at your job. Don't quit."
Yeah.
And that was like,
Yeah,
heck
that's
yeah.
in the movie. You're halfway through the movie at this point.
Wow, really? Nothing has happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of Dune, the movie.
I
also.
really enjoy what I've read. It's just so dense, and like so many terms, not like English language words I don't know. I'm pretty literate, you guys. But
He's been
although
to college.
there was a word in there, canly. Canly. Formal feud or vendetta under the rules of the Great Convention, carried on according to the strictest limitation. Which is an adverb, I guess. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Looks like a can.
It's like
canly.
it's like a advert, like an adversary or something. You're like, I don't know. I had to Google it. Or, in other words, ask my dad.
He is Google.
He is Google, yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy it because it's just been like 100 pages of world building, and you know me, I can get into that. So
You could definitely get into that. You're gonna love the movie when you see it.
I'm excited for Timothy Chalamet.
Honestly, if I had to change one thing about Dune, the movie,
You get rid of
I
him.
would cast somebody else.
Chris
to
Pine.
be honest, I like Chalamet a lot, but I don't know if he's the best person for the role. Sorry, all of the Timothy Chalamet fans.
Wow. Who would you replace him
That's
with?
my one hot take.
Could you even come up with someone
Tom
as
Holland. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be a terrible idea.
as youthful as Timothy Chalamet?
Those are the only two youthful actors in Hollywood. Chalamet and Holland.
Adam Driver.
That's a great question. Adam Driver's great.
He's too old.
I'd have to think it over.
He's been in Marriage Story. He can't play a young boy anymore.
Yeah. Did you see that there are rumors going around that Adam Driver is in talks to be in Fantastic Four? And
As
I
what?
I find that
Sounds awful. As a villain?
No word on that. Just that he's in talks to be in it.
What if he was the Thing?
He would never. he hated being in Star Wars, for example. He doesn't want to be in big franchise movies.
I think people are very adverse to the whole contract thing, despite all of the Marvel actors being like the most rich actors ever right now.
And they did get rid of the contract thing, like they're not requiring actors
like
to
Oscar
sign
Isaac he's like one and done, right?
I mean that's the thing. Like he could be one and done, or he can come back whenever he wants. So they have a little bit more freedom. Speaking of Marvel, one of my recommendations, I read through the Marvel Civil War comic event. I read it.
The original?
Guys, I read something. Yeah.
Wow, how good was that?
Now, if it's comic books. It's really good. And it further, if we ever we'll do a Marvel Cinematic Juniverse every year, I bet. We'll find a way to do it every year.
I like that.
We won't rank it. We probably won't rank everything every year because that'd just be the same.
Maybe not.
But I'll talk about Civil
What if
War
I woke up tomorrow and Thor: The Dark
depth.
World was my favorite movie of all time?
I would hate that. But
you know,
honestly, I respect people who really like that
also,
movie.
Thor: Love and Thunder isn't on that list.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta. There will be a lot of Marvel movies out by the time June rolls around of next year. So
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading the comic. It further everything I've ever said about Civil War, about how there are no stakes and nothing really happens or changes. Things do change in that movie, but in the comic, like it's a really big deal, and it's honestly like only one superhero dies because of the Civil War in the contained Civil War comic that I read, the 6-issue comic series. And he's not a big name that dies. It's Giant Man, so it's
like
not Hank Pym, but one of his friends who's a big guy.
Interesting.
He dies, and that kind of, that even solidifies everybody's ideals, and people switch sides after that point. And that everything I've ever said about how Rhodey should have died in Captain America Civil War, because if Rhodey dies in that movie, like you think he probably does at first, because the Vision shoots him in the chest, and you're like, oh my gosh, Rhodey's dead.
Falls
but
in the middle.
Then immediately it's like, no, he's fine. If Rhodey would have died in that movie, things would have actually like had stakes, and like you would have felt like something actually happened in that movie, because everything just kind of like sorts itself out after that, and it's like fine.
Call me.
Whatever. But if Rhodey had
still
died,
your friend,
then that's like a big deal.
Yeah,
and
Tony would probably never talk to
drama.
Steve again.
Yeah.
Until like Thanos. And I mean, they do have long-lasting relationship break, and the Avengers themselves kind of get done away with in a way.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's basically artificial because there weren't any real problems.
I wanted to tell you because you're not going to finish She-Hulk, I assume.
So
you're
true.
not going to watch it or finish it.
Sadly.
The Daredevil episode that Daredevil's in, he has this line in a courtroom where he says, as you know, Judge, the Sokovia Accords have been overturned or whatever.
Oh.
So those aren't a thing anymore, I guess. So Civil War means even less now.
Wow.
So that's
how great is that? New information has surfaced.
Which
Civil War is even worse.
Yeah. They didn't really do anything with the Sokovia Accords anyway after that movie, so I was really a big fan of the comic Civil War. All the different, it's a huge cast of characters in the comics, obviously, because it's built on years and years and years of storylines and everything, and Spider-Man gets some cool stuff to do.
The X-Men and Fantastic Four are in there and stuff, right?
Yeah, everybody's there. Well,
awesome.
The mutants at that time didn't get involved in the Civil War because they were under the oversight of the big robots. What are they called from Days of Future Past? The
Sentinels.
Sentinels. Yeah. So the Sentinels came around to kind of keep the mutants at bay. So they were kind of dealing with that while the Civil War is happening.
Wow.
But
what a strong
Wolverine shows
allegory,
up a
you
couple
guys.
times. Yeah.
In that movie,
'cause
huh?
Days of Future Past?
Yeah. That's a pretty good movie. We got to do X-Men soon.
We do gotta do X-Men, yeah. Our every episode that we rank stuff does well, so
Yeah,
we
we
gotta
do.
rank more stuff
We
because
gotta rank everything.
nobody cares about everything else. So
Hey.
I'm just kidding. More
Um,
people listen to last week's episode, so that's good.
Yeah. We just gotta get back on the weekly. You know.
We're back on the weekly. I'm
We are.
glad we
You're
made
right.
this work, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bring us out of here,
Heck
Joshua.
yeah. Before I do, I have a recommendation of my own.
Oh heck yeah.
Last night I couldn't sleep, so I thought,
Oh, sorry,
what
dude.
better to do with my time than rather than sleeping? I'm gonna watch Robert Downey Jr.'s and Jude Law's The Sherlock Holmes, or whatever
Oh.
the movie is called. Just Sherlock.
The Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, The Sherlock Holmes. That movie is so funny, and I think I knew that it was funny the first 20 times I watched it.
Yeah.
But it's just like
You showed me that for the first time.
You're
at
always
your
like
house.
seeing. Did I really?
Yeah.
It's a great
Saw it
movie.
for
Have you
first
seen
time
the
with
second
you
one?
at your house? Yes.
Okay, good. I
Maybe
think
that's the one you showed me at your house.
Game of Shadows.
The one with Moriarty is that
Yeah.
one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's. Yeah. So it's just
Sorry.
like no. It's okay.
Interrupted
I
your
lost
train
my
of
own
thought.
brain. The movie, like the first couple times you're watching it, you're just really focused on Blackwood's plan and watching Sherlock try to figure it out. But this subplot that's going on with Sherlock not wanting Watson to leave because he's marrying what's her face?
I don't know. It's been a
Mary.
long time.
Mary. He doesn't want her to marry Mary because then he will leave. And that's like every interaction that they have together in the whole movie is like Sherlock manipulating Watson into doing something he doesn't want to do in an attempt to make him look bad for his wife and his family so that they won't get married and he can stay with Sherlock forever. Because he's like, this is the only person that can tolerate me, and I need them to tolerate me so that I have a person to do stuff with. And it's really beautiful, and I really like that human part of Sherlock. And I think in the TV show Sherlock, that's also very well developed over the three series of that show.
What a great show.
So good. Honestly, could be my actual
Benny
number
Boy.
10 instead of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Worth an evaluation on that point.
I didn't even think about that show when we
It's
did our ranking. But
pretty
It is
good.
really, really good.
Definitely highly recommend. So it was 3 a.m. and I was delirious, but I was laughing. I was having a great time watching that movie. Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. have amazing chemistry.
Yeah,
They're
that's a great
super,
pairing.
super funny. My mom loves Jude Law, so
She does.
that's always a win.
Robert Downey Jr. Didn't he get canceled recently for something? But he should be in stuff. He should be in more
Recently?
stuff. That's not superhero.
He got canceled a long time ago.
That's true.
I don't know what he did recently. I haven't heard anything about that.
He said one thing that was slightly offensive to a director, but I think people forgot about it because he's Downey Jr. and he
Fair
can
enough.
do whatever he wants. So
There you go. One last thing before I take us out of here. Star Wars The Last Jedi is a really good movie.
I
Just-
was waiting for you to bring it up.
I just thought of that one.
Ryan Johnson said this week that he was like, yeah, guys, Kathleen and I were always talking about my trilogy. It'll probably happen someday. It just depends when I have the time.
Oh,
So
Ryan.
that could be
Ryan,
total.
Please.
That could just be him like trying to stir up the hope that he will, so people start asking.
I
for
want
it
him
again,
to. I've never not wanted that.
but if they give him a trilogy and let him just run with it, I mean,
Let him write
best
the whole thing.
Star Wars trilogy ever. And if you said it way outside the Skywalker saga if you put it in Old Republic or something. Dang. Do something cool.
Yes, please.
Do something
That
cool.
would be so freaking
Give us
awesome.
good Star Wars movies.
Right now.
You've given us a good Star Wars show. Just give us a good movie, okay?
Yeah. Wonder is coming out soon. Tales of the
What's that?
Jedi is coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it called Wonder?
What is that?
It's
I
like
don't know what that is.
they revealed it at DX23, right? Isn't that what it's called? Wonder?
Wonder.
Maybe not.
What is that? What is
It's
that?
like a
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. What's his face?
Tales of the Jedi is coming out.
Warwick Davis is in it.
Oh, Willow.
Willow.
Yeah.
Not Wonder. Yeah, Willow's coming out soon.
Willow.
Tales of the Jedi is coming out soon. Those look
That
cool.
looks pretty good. Yeah.
What are we doing next week? Do you have any idea what we're doing next week?
We're going to take a 1 week break because
Oh, that's
I'm going
right.
on vacation.
Great.
I'm going on break. Not really. I'm just going to Utah for a week.
Sweet.
So we won't have an episode next Tuesday by the time you guys are listening to this.
Uh-huh.
But we will be back for Black Adam, ? We'll
Oh.
see Black Adam at some
Yeah,
point.
okay.
We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have some fun things planned for that episode whenever we
Oh.
get around to it.
Okay.
Some Dwayne Johnson related games. Because
Shenaniganery.
he's Dwayne Johnson.
He's all up in the universe
Which
right now.
I wish you had seen more DC movies so that we could talk about that aspect of things. But
What else is he in?
he's not in anything else. But
Oh.
Anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about Black Adam.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, with
Let's
that being
talk about
said,
that.
thank you guys so much for watching. We are Quarter Twins. This is Joshua and Jordan.
Yep.
We have been Quarter Twins.
Yes.
We are
We have been,
Quarter
and
Twins.
we are, and we will
be Quarter Twins
forever.
2022. Get ready for season 2. We have no plans, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
We're going to
Season
rank
2.
things. I have plans for videos. We're going to release the Shining commentary
Mm-hmm.
in maybe a couple weeks. Who knows how that... I'm going to edit that.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a long time. I
We're gonna
have...
fight YouTube copyright laws.
Yeah. I have a couple theories as to how we're going to dodge that sort of stuff. It'll be great.
Sick.
Stranger Things tier list in full with full explanations. I got to edit that up. My Star Wars Last Jedi rant. I got some videos for the YouTube channel that will not
Nice.
appear on Spotify, so you guys should check out the YouTube channel for exclusive Quarter Twins content.
Exclusive. YouTube exclusive content.
And once you're done watching all of that, you can come over to my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
Razamuphu, Razamuphu, for some gaming content.
Heck yeah.
I seriously doubt anyone would watch the videos I'm making, but I did start a Pokemon series for all you
Saw that.
Pokemon fans, and it's a fan-made game, so there's cool stuff entails there.
Ooh.
So check that out. Okay, that's enough ending stuff. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.